What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. You linked a story about Brandon Ayuk tearing his ACL.
I did, yeah.
And then you said, has a team ever had this much bad luck? To which I would say, well, what about the Saints? Who do you think has had worse luck, the Saints or the Niners?
You know, T-Bob, there's a slight possibility that I put that in there to compare the two teams.
Oh, okay. So
there you go. But actually, I don't know. We'd probably have to look.
The
It's probably pretty
Chargers
close.
in there too.
And it's interesting, though, because I got so then you start looking things up, right? We're going to talk to Nick Underhill, and I'll ask him about this in a little bit because he has a piece about this, right? Dude, classic Nick research project, going and looking at every single team's injury report over the last 2 seasons. And what he came up with, at least he wrote, that the Saints are the most injured team of the past 2 years. And that for the last 2 years, they suffered soft tissue injuries at a higher rate than any team. Now, what's odd about, like, during the first 6 weeks, Saints have had 20 soft tissue issues. Vegas has had 16. Pittsburgh 15. Tampa 12. Jacksonville 12. Houston 12. Carolina and San Fran 11. They're averaging about 3.5 guys per week with soft tissue injuries. But, like, it's not, I mean, it's not good. That's obviously bad. Like I said, I mean, it's most of the league, but it's not like a massive outlier. And then the overall injury number is 41. New England actually leading the way with 50 injuries on the year. And then Tampa Bay at 42. And the Tampa Bay piece of this is interesting because I know there's some nuance here. Like, it's not just about, like, the volume of injuries. It's about who's getting hurt. And Tampa maybe hasn't had as many key players go down. But this does kind of reinforce a lot of what we've talked about where everything on the injury front, yes, does it seem to be, it's at the far end of being bad. Whether you want to say it's worse in the NFL or not, it's definitely like, in that grouping of being near the worst. But it's still a poorly constructed roster. If Tampa suffered just as many injuries as you had, and yet they're doing fine. San Fran's injured all hell. They have a pace. Last year, the Packers were the most injured team in the NFL. They end up making the playoffs. Like, you also see amongst the people ranked around you that it is still possible to be better than what you have been. Now, some of this latest news not good. Rashid Shaheed out for the year with a knee injury. Paulson Adebo out for the year with a broken leg. Saints actually signed Marcus Valdes-Scantling. I don't know if there's, whatever. I don't have any great hope for anything like that, but they did. It's news. But here's the worst part about the Saints season. You look at this 5-game losing streak, and when you really sit back and reflect on it, and this is why people feel so helpless and nobody wants to talk about them, is it has been a consistent descent into excrement, just getting worse and worse and worse. That Eagles game, really pretty well fought. I mean, elite defense. Yeah, your offense didn't have it going, but you scored the touchdown to take the lead. You end up blowing it. You lose 15-12. Okay, then you get to the Falcons. You had them on the ropes. You don't give up an offensive touchdown. You play so well on the road, but then a 50-plus yarder at time expires beats you. But then you get to the Chiefs. It gets a little worse. You never really get anything going, but it's the Chiefs, right? 26-13, but it's the Chiefs. You get to the Bucs. You're going to be back at home. It's the Bucs. 51-27. Okay, now you're starting to panic. And then Sean Payton and the Broncos come in, and with Bo Nix in an offense that is not good, beat you 33-10 and completely embarrass you. So it is snowballing bad. And I don't think there's a world in which these Saints manage to pull the nose up. Between the injuries combined with the context of the rhythm of the season, this is a plane that is hurtling towards the side of the mountain. And I don't think you're be able to pull up on that joystick hard enough.
So you look at the schedule coming up. You got 2 road games now. The next game's against the Chargers, and the Chargers are incredibly beat up as well. Receiver, edge rusher. There's a lot that they've dealt with as well. Then you go to the Panthers. So this is really your last chance to get it right. Mm-hmm. It's your last chance to do anything as far as positive momentum because, if you don't get those 2 games, where are you going to get the wins? You get, Atlanta at home, you get Cleveland at home, you get LA at home. I understand those are winnable games, but you got to get these two, because these two get you started. These two get you back into the conversation. These two get you at 4-5 as you head into those games. And so the schedule definitely lightens up. I mean, we could go on the road against the Giants. Now, the Commanders game looks completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Packers, that's going to be tough. So you do have a tough 2-game stretch there. Then the Raiders and then the Bucks. But there's winnable games in the next 5. If you get 3 of those games, right, does it do enough to keep you in the conversation? Maybe. But if you don't get these next 2 road games, and it's so hard to win in the NFL on the road, we know that. But if you don't get these 2, I don't think there's any hope of anything this year.
I mean, yeah. I feel you. There already is no hope. You let a Broncos team, again, that is okay. A really, really good defense. So I completely understand what happened there, but the Saints' run defense right now is absolutely abysmal. And it's sad because this was once the group that was setting NFL records for the most consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. And now you can just have your way with them. I mean, you let a Broncos team that is deeply flawed come into your home and beat you 33-10 on a night that really mattered. And so, no, I don't think there's any hope that you're going to get it done on the road against any of these teams. The problem is I don't know that I love next year's quarterbacks that much anymore. Shedeur looks good, but Beck and Ewers look kind of boring now. If your team was to draft them, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll talk myself into it. Nuss, we'll see where Nusson's up, dude. He is climbing rapidly, but this is. I'm very interested. We're going to talk to Nick coming up here in a few minutes, about 50 minutes. Very interested to see where morale at New Orleans football is at, given the kind of waning interest level in a team that we're not even a third of the way through, or you are just at a third of the way through, basically, and it feels like everything's already done. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.